Today we are recording our next tutorial, which is about connecting the temperature sensor with the Raspberry Pi. This is a very accurate sensor and it can be extended up to 15 to 18 meters from the Raspberry Pi. It consists of 4 pins. If you start from this side, the first pin is the VCC, the second is the signal, the third is the unused pin. We are not using this pin. The fourth is the ground. For your understanding, I am taking it and connecting it to the very last or the end of the breadboard. So I am inserting it. Now after inserting it at the last of the breadboard, I will start making the pin connections. So from the last of the breadboard, the first pin is the VCC, as you know about it. I have connected it. So I am taking it to the VCC, which is the 5 volt of Raspberry Pi, and after it there is a signal pin, which is the second pin. I am connecting the signal pin at the second, and this signal pin will be connected to the GPIO 4, which is the fourth pin below 3.3 volt, and the last pin is the ground. So I am taking the last pin, leaving the third pin carefully and inserting it in the last pin. So the last pin is the ground, so ground can be connected anywhere on the breadboard. So you can see all the pins are connected. So let us move towards the programming screen. The connections are finalized. As the connections has been finalized, now we are starting the installation. So I have written all the things in this text file. So let me start it. I will clone this link. I will clone this link in the terminal. So I am opening the terminal and I will write git clone and I will paste this link. So it will copy the folder into my home directory. So it is cloning and it is successfully done. Now let us move towards the folder. The folder is here, and in this folder I would like to run this DHT11 example. I am opening it in text editor, and I have connected 2 pin GPIO 4, not 21. So I am editing it to 4, and let me save it and I will run it and see what the temperature sensor is showing. So I will copy this path and go towards the terminal cd space, pasting this path, and you can see I am in the path. Now I am writing python 3, and the code you can see by pressing tab is DHT11 example. So I am writing DHT11 example. Now I am pressing enter. So the temperature sensor has been started, and you can see on the screen that the temperature is now 28 degrees centigrade and humidity is 55 degrees centigrade. Now I am placing my hand towards the temperature sensor or blocking its way. So you can see the humidity is changing. So the temperature sensor is working perfectly. Now I am removing my hand towards it, and the reading has been changed. So the temperature sensor is working perfectly. As we have connected the sensor and we are successful in getting the readings, now we are moving towards the IoT part of this program. In the IoT part, first we will install the direct library from the Adafruit. So I will open my terminal, and after clearing the screen I will open the new terminal without going into any path, and I am installing the library, just copying and pasting the first command, and I am installing the Autofruit Circuit Python. So this library has been installed. The second is the PicBiode library, so I am copying it as well, and I will post it in the terminal. And after pasting it, it will install the PicBiode library as well. Now I am moving towards the third library, which is used for streaming the data from Raspberry Pi to the server we are using. So IS streamer. So I am installing the third library as well, which is the IS streamer. The three libraries are installed. Now the most important step is to make an account into this website iot.app.initialstate.com. So I am going towards the website, and on this website I am pasting this website here, and on this website I will make an account. And this is the very necessary step, and this is the very countable step. And with the help of this step, what I will do, basically I will be able to stream my data directly from the Raspberry Pi to the server. So there is an account sign in. I will sign out because I want to show you the complete new process. So I am on the website, and on the website I will create a new account. I will click on the button register a new account, and I will give another email here. Okay, so I'm using my another email address and making a new account here. Okay, at gmail.com, and after this it is asking my password. So I am writing the password as well, repeat password. Okay, and I am repeating the password as well. Okay, allow the app usage, click on it, stay sign in, then I will click on the register button. So it is registering myself. I am making a new account because I am making all the things from the very necessary and from the very basic step. So I think it has saved my account, and let me yes, I am now log in with my new account, and I am on the first time on this screen. Now I will go on the top, and after going on the top I will click on this plus button. So this plus button means create a new stream bucket. So is in this new stream bucket I am giving it the title as temperature monitor. Okay, so I have given the title temperature monitor, and I am collecting the themes as the light theme, and it is also given me the URL and configure endpoint keys. I don't need to I have to click or check mark on this configure endpoint keys. Now I will click on the create button, and my new stream bucket is now available, and you can see on the top the name is the temperature monitor. Now I am clicking on it, and you can see I am on the my new created bucket. Okay, so I will fill that bucket with the help of my Python code. So it is listening for data. I am not sending any data right now. So what I will do, I will go to this bucket and click on the settings tab, and because of this setting tab I can see my access key, bucket key, and these keys can be used in my Python code. So this is the very important thing, and there are also options available. I will discuss what are the purpose of these options. So let me move towards the Python code now. I have created an account, and I have also added a new bucket, okay, and got the access key and the token secret. Now I will show you the code, and I will upload this code on my GitHub account as well, so you can get the proper ideas. So let us start with the coding part, and I'm opening the code in the Thorny IDLE. And in the Thorny IDLE, the first I have imported the library and the streamer of the code. Now the sender location is the student labs is my location, and the bucket name, and what is the bucket name? The bucket name is available on the site. So let me go towards Chrome. The bucket name is temperature monitor. So I will write here the same spelling, temperature and monitor. So I have written here temperature monitor, and it is asking me for the bucket key. So I will remove this bucket key. I will move towards my account, and you can see there is a bucket key. I am copying it. After copying this bucket key, I will move towards the Python code again and paste this bucket key here. Now it is asking me for the access key. So I am deleting this access key and go to my account and copy this access key, and there is an access key. I am going again and I have written Control V. So the access key, I am sure, is pasted. So you have to match it, and the minutes between reads 1 minute is fine, and it is asking for the D4, means it similar means that we have connected our control pin or the data pin to the GPIO 4. So it's the GPIO 0 convention following here, and let me move towards it, and all the things are fine. And this is the code written for calculating the data of the temperature sensor. So everything I think is fine. So I am running the code from the root folder, and I am writing here temperature, and the code name is PRS. So I am pressing enter, and I am hopeful that it will run the code and fetch the reading. So the code is running, and let me move towards my dashboard, and we will check it whether it is working or not. So let me move towards the dashboard and check. Yes, that on the dashboard we got the area student labs and the humidity and temperature. Now we have the option to edit these styles. Okay, so in the edit these style option, we can select the line graph or the bar graph, whether the graph you want, and also we can add another options here. Another good options, we can change color like this, and we can observe all the values here. So in this we have the option to add gauge as well, and the other things as well. So we can add gauge, bar graph, gauge chart, and anything you want about it. So the line graph is good for it, and we can select axis and other things as well. So there is a line graph, and in the humidity we also have the option of the gauge. So I want it to be the gauge chart, and you can add color threshold in the gauge as well. So it's upon your choice that you can make modifications. So you can see there is a continuous reading coming on, and we can, if we place our hand on the sensor, so the readings can be changed. Okay, so it is sensing the reading and providing it on a dashboard with the delay of 1 second, as we have set in the code. And if you want to check the timings, you can check the timings as well. And there is another option that if you want to get this file downloaded in as a CSV file, you can download all the data from the starting time to the ending time, and after every instant of time it will send the reading of temperature and humidity. And you can see the graph separately as well, the values graph, and you can see the dashboard where the values are coming continuously. And the most important thing is that if you go on to this temperature monitor, okay, and in this temperature monitor you can click on it. So in this temperature monitor you have the trigger option, and if you set something on the trigger option, you can create a new trigger, and you can students lab humidity or temperature, and you can enter a value that when the temperature reaches 45 degrees centigrade you can write email or SMS as well. So you can create a trigger according to yourself as well. The next important thing is the share. You can share this dashboard with anyone publicly. So I'm taking this URL, and if I email this URL to my friend who is sitting anywhere in the world, so he can check the status of the temperature monitor as well. So let me email it to someone. So I am opening it, and after opening I am writing the password of my email, and I will email this link, and I can also WhatsApp this link to my friend, so he or she can access what is happening on the temperature dashboard all over the world. So this is the very nice thing. So I am writing an email to my another email address or to one of my friend, and in this email I can write a link, and I can provide him a link, and whenever he can access the link using WhatsApp or any other source, he can view the live call of the temperature sensor. So that's a very important thing. So I am sending it. Okay, so I have sent the link. Let me go towards the send, and I can also access the link as well. So let me open the link and in the another dashboard, and I don't have the access to change or disturb the things, but it is the shared link, so I can view the things that has been provided. So you can see I have opened the link, so everyone sitting anywhere in the world can check that WhatsApp link. You can see the temperature line is following a continuous path, and the humidity is here, and if we change or apply some pressure on it, or provide some heat on it, so the temperature will change instantly. So you can change the temperature as well by providing any heat sources or more different things, etc. So that's all for the tutorial. Hope you have got the clear idea what is happening.